whereas the Illinois Public Agenda for College and Career Success identified a prosperity gap in the state related to large and widening disparities in educational attainment by race or ethnicity, by income, and by region, and whereas greater levels of education correlate with greater lifetime earnings, higher annual incomes, lower unemployment rates, better health, and more civic participation, and children of low-income parents dramatically improve their chances of rising to middle-income levels when they receive post-secondary degrees. And whereas post-secondary education and training not only support the intellectual and professional development of individual students, but also help our state to maintain a strong and flexible workforce and resilient economy. And whereas closing the education attainment gap is both a moral imperative and an economic one, and will require that all Illinois residents have affordable access to high-quality educational opportunities that prepare them for the jobs of the present and the future, and whereas Illinois policymakers and education institutions have adopted a goal of increasing the proportion of Illinois adults with a high-quality post-secondary credential to 60% by the year 2025, and whereas the College Changes Everything College Access Movement and annual conference can be an essential part of helping the state reach its goal, designed to foster collaboration and action among policymakers, practitioners, and citizens concerned about college access and success, and therefore, I, Pat Quinn, Governor of the State of Illinois, proclaim July 12th to be College Changes Everything Day in Illinois, and call on all Illinoisans to support the students, parents, and adult learners in their communities as they work to achieve their educational goals. Thank you.
In the mid-1980s, the best state student aid commission organization in the country was the Illinois Student Assistance Commission, and it still is. This conference is an excellent example of why that is. I think that this conference is bringing together a group of dedicated professionals who truly understand the importance of what a college education is all about, the value of post-secondary education, and I know all of you share my passion for extending the enormous benefits of college to millions more Americans. The leaders of this state have shown a real commitment to higher education that's strong, that's sustained, and in my view, I mean this sincerely, literally second to none.
I work with ISAC, and my story isn't really about me, but rather my experience working as a member of the ISAC Corps. And I wanted to not only welcome you guys to the convention, but also to my district. Sam was able to explain to you guys a little bit about how we're sectioned throughout the state, but a little more about that is it was a dream on a napkin, and we were designed to go and help every high school throughout the state, but how do we narrow that down? So they decided not only will we just go to high schools, but the high schools that their matriculation will be to the community college. So my community college district is Prairie State. That's why I said welcome. I saw some of the people that I work with and some people that I hope to work with in Prairie State's district, so hey. But the idea behind it was phenomenal. And I was able to not only make relationships with the community college, with the schools, but also the community themselves. And I think when I first got hired for this job, I was just excited to have a job 1 month and 3 days after graduating college. So thank you, Isaac. But the more and more I became comfortable in my position and going through my first training, I noticed that this just wasn't going to be a job anymore. My first time going into a school, I was combated with a lot of things about who are you, especially because, frankly, I look young. Don't mind the stature. So with that being said, I found a nice icebreaker that I can do when I did my presentations. You guys would be considered a large group for me as my first time going out into the field. And I would tell my parents to raise their hands. Turn to your student and whisper, "She looks like she's just your age." Then I'd exclaim, I know, it's okay, and let me explain who I am. So right now I'm 23 years old, a recent college graduate, and I work to make sure your student can do the exact same thing. And they will be like, well, how can we do what you're doing? First step is going to college. So throughout the years, I've been able to see a lot of students come in my office hours, go through their lunchrooms, sit in on their classrooms, and a lot of times they don't want to talk to me about college. They want to talk to me about what's going on in the lunchroom, what just happened at the basketball game last week, or what's going on in their personal lives. So it became more than just trying to get numbers of students to fill out the FAFSA, but rather to get students to connect with me, because ideally the idea behind being an ISAC Corps member is not only to go into the schools and be an extension of ISAC, but to be a near-peer mentor. That's why my age worked to my advantage. They looked at me and we listened to the same music. We went to the same stores to shop. We were able to relate and talk about hair or nails, for the gentlemen, their shoes and their hats. So it worked to my advantage, but also it had its drawbacks. Because at the same time where my parents were whispering that she looks just your age, my counselors were whispering the same. So sooner or later, the more they became comfortable with me, and I did see Lauren Meeks in here. She's from Prairie State, the director of the trio. Hey! She was the first person that gave me my chance to really show out in front of a crowd. And they were able to say she's not only knowledgeable and experienced, but she's knowledgeable and expert in financial aid and college access. And thankfully, for my experiences, I was able to step in and help someone else. And I actually brought a student. I had the pleasure of bringing one, so I'm going to introduce Victoria Chandler. This is one of my students that I just had. Come on, boo.
Hello, I'm Victoria Chandler. I just recently graduated from Rich South High School, and come next month, I'll be attending Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. But, okay, yeah, so before senior year, no college, no, was not thinking about it at all. And, well, I wanted to go just because everyone else who was going, and they were telling me about their experience, but they all ended up coming back, and it just seemed like it wasn't enough. Then I met Miss Humbles. She represents you guys well, by the way. So I met her and started working with her. I was one of the students who talked about everything but college, but she kept me focused and started like the FAFSA, everything I had to fill out and stuff. All the other kids were ahead of me because I just did not want to hear about college. And I lost focus and everything was overwhelming and stressful, but luckily, she brought me back and did what I had to do. So now I will be attending college. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I didn't put her up to saying nice things. But Victoria is just one of the students that I work with, and we report how many students that we work with. There's 90 plus of us throughout the state, so you can just imagine how many students that we're impacting. So as I'm sitting through these seminars, I'm not only taking in this information that I can relate to students coming next in this year to come, but rather I'm envisioning students' faces that I've worked with before, that this information would have truly been pertinent to them continuing on. And I kind of encourage you all to do the same. Don't just think about students and say students, but envision those faces because they have them. And their stories are unique. It's not just their college going and let's make this goal, but let's make this goal relevant to their lives, because what they want to do, it is going to impact us when we're older. And I know that I'm not at the point where I could say we're older, but I still feel that way. But think about what they look like. Think about not only the fact that we want to push them forward, but what are they going through before they come through to your office? Because one student told me, you're pushing 3 applications in my face. My mother's pushing 3 job applications in my face. I have real experiences, and this might not be my priority because at home I have them too. And it resonates with you a lot. And just briefly, sorry. I feel like ISAC really truly met us where we needed to be as recent college graduates so that we can do the goal that they put before us. They wanted us to meet the students at their level in their space. And they created the opportunity for us to make those partnerships. So if you haven't reached out to your ISAC core member, we are not there to try to take the jobs of the counselors, but we're an added resource, and a very good one too, because I've noticed it's not us that are getting them there, it's not just you. Peers encourage peers. They're a hub amongst themselves. So if one is doing it, the rest want to do it. So if we can get in at their level and truly marinate with them, then it seems to be a little easier along the way. So thank you.